The war that shaped a generation in the United States continues shaping Robert Macnamara's voyage of discovery to Vietnam. CNN's Tom Mintier reports on the former U.S. Secretary of Defense's first visit to Hanoi.
Former U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Macnamara came to Vietnam like many Americans before him, looking for answers. The war in this country has been over for more than 20 years, but for many people, Macnamara included, there are plenty of unanswered questions. He spent the past few days meeting Vietnamese leaders, both past and present. On Thursday, he visited Madame Nguyen Thi Binh. During the war, she was the foreign minister for the Viet Cong. Now she's the vice president of Vietnam. But it was the meeting with retired General Vo Nguyen Giap, now 83 years old, that provided information about an incident on the night of August 4th, 1964. It was the spark that ignited the Vietnam War, the Tonkin Gulf Incident. 2 U.S. destroyers off the coast of North Vietnam were attacked 2 nights earlier, but reported that Vietnamese gunboats attacked them a second time. The incident moved American forces from the role of advisors to active participants. As Robert Macnamara sat with General Giap, he apparently couldn't resist asking one of the few men in the world who would know, did the attack on the destroyers ever happen?
To this day, I don't know what happened on August 2nd and August 4th, 1964 in the Tonkin Gulf.
The general provided the answer, saying his Navy attacked the Maddox on August 2nd, but on the 4th, nothing happened. There was absolutely nothing, he said. The revelation may be important to historians. They have argued for years that the second incident on August 4th never occurred, but Lyndon Johnson used it to justify air attacks on Vietnam and broaden the scope of the war. The meeting of the 2 men who directed the war from opposite sides went on for more than an hour. It was described as cordial and friendly. After the meeting, the former U.S. Secretary of Defense left without talking to reporters. General Giap wasn't in such a hurry. Asked if the 2 men reconciled their differences.
The fact that he came here, that means the situation between us now is very different.
The meeting between Mr. Macnamara and General Giap was a historic event. The 2 men who formed the military policy on the battlefield sitting down together in a room 20 years after the end of the war. The next chapter in this saga may occur in the United States. The general has been invited to a conference next year to look back at the war, something it seems many people still want to do.
They also want to read about it, even here in Vietnam. Robert Macnamara's book, In Retrospect, published last April, can be found on the streets of Hanoi. Not the hardcover edition, few Vietnamese could afford it. What's being sold here is the counterfeit edition from a copy machine. Tom Mintier, CNN, Hanoi.